good morning. Happy Sabbath. Welcome back to a chapter a day. Today we will be reading 1 Samuel chapter 22. Not a long chapter either. To recount yesterday, we saw David being a refuge now on the run from Saul. Has after he made a pact with his son, Saul's son Jonathan in chapter 20, that he would let him know if his life was really in danger from Saul, and he shot the arrows to aware him, yep, you are being pursued to be killed by my father. David is now running, ran to um, 1 Samuel, and then Saul discovered him. So now, and there was another person inside of the sanctuary or the temple when he went to see the priest. So, oh, okay, I'm mixing up the two stories. But anyway, he's now left Samuel because Saul discovered where he was. Comes to another place where the priest is. So he's looking for the priest to help him, and he encounters a priest by the name of Ahimelech, who was afraid when he saw David because David was alone. And I'm sure he already sensed or already heard that Saul was pursuing David to kill him. But David lied to the priest by telling him he was on business for Saul and it was supposed to be secret. And the priest gave him shewbread, which really was not the custom to give the shewbread to anyone. The shewbread was supposed to have been burnt if it wasn't used. But he gave it to David, and David went ahead and let's see what else. Like I said, there was a man there in the temple at the same time when David went in or into the sanctuary. I'm not sure if they even have a temple yet. Maybe it's still in tents. But this man by the name of Doeg was a chief herdsman of Saul. Not good. I tell you, somebody's always there to see when you're doing, especially if you're doing something wrong. But anyways, he also had the priest give him Goliath's sword. So now that he has left, he went now to the Philistines, which is an enemy of the Israelites, looking for refuge. So he goes to the king, not knowing Achish, the king of Gath, which is where Goliath, the giant he slayed, was from, recognized him, and then well, Achish is saying, why is this man here? And then David realizes, oh my gosh, he knows who I am. So now he pretends that he's off his mind. So he starts foaming at the mouth, behaving wild and crazy. Let's see what happens next. Chapter 22. David therefore departed thence and escaped to the cave Adullam. And when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they went down thither to him. And everyone that was in distress, and everyone that was in debt, and everyone that was discontented, gathered themselves unto him, and he became a captain over them. And there were with him about 400 men. And David went thence to Mizpeh of Moab, and he said unto the king of Moab, let my father and my mother, I pray thee, come forth and be with you, till I know what God will do for me. And he brought them before the king of Moab, and they dwelt with him all the while that David was in the hold. And the prophet Gad said unto David, abide not in the hold, depart, and get thee into the land of Judah. Then David departed and came into the forest of Hareth. So, what's happening now is that he has run away from the Philistines he was trying to dwell with, because of course the king said he doesn't want him there. Comes to a cave. His parents hear about it. They come down to him because they know what's happening between he and Saul, and I guess they are fearing for their lives as well, because Saul is out to kill anyone in their way. So now other people, anyone who was in distress, maybe they were just discontented with Saul and his mad behavior, they were saying, we don't want to be part of Saul. So they came to David, and now David has 400 people following him. So he goes to the king of Moab and asks him if he can hold his parents for him, which is very good. That is a amen to David. Anyway, So the king of Moab agreed to take care of his parents, and a prophet by the name of Gad, told him, "Don't stay in the hold. Go to the land of Judah." And there he left, and he goes to the forest. Okay, verse 6. When Saul heard that David was discovered and the men that were with him, now Saul abode in Gibeah under a tree in Ramah, having his spear in his hand, and all his servants were standing about him. Then Saul said unto his servants that stood about him, "Hear now, ye Benjamites, will the son of Jesse give every one of you fields and vineyards, and make you all captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, that all of you have conspired against me, and there is none that showeth me that my son hath made a league with the son of Jesse? And there is none of you that is sorry for me, or showeth unto me that my son hath stirred up my servant against me, to lie in wait as it is this day?" Then answered Doeg the Edomite, which was set over the servants of Saul, and said, "I saw the son of Jesse coming to Nob, to Ahimelech the son of Ahitub. And he inquired of the Lord for him, and gave him victuals, and gave him the sword of Goliath the Philistines." Okay, so here's one. Saul is living under some tree, they say. He's dwelling under a tree with his spear in his hand. Apparently, his spear seemed to be his best friend. Remember, he tried to kill Jonathan in chapter 20, I think it was, with his spear. He seems like to always have this spear in hand because he doesn't have the faith of God in him anymore. So he's depending on himself to protect himself. Although nobody seems to be pursuing him, he's pursuing David. So he heard of the following of the people after David. So he comes to address his people. "All of you are conspiring against me. You know the son of Jesse has already like brainwashed my son, so he's against me, and now all of you are coming against me. Do you think David is going to give you lands and vineyards, etc.?" Which is what Saul maybe did. Take away other people's lands and gave it to his servants, which is what Samuel told them in the beginning would happen. But anyway, so steps forward this one by the name of Doeg, who was in the temple at that time when David was there asking the priest for the shewbread and for Goliath's sword. And he told Saul that he saw David there. So let's see what happens. Verse 11. Then the king sent to call Ahimelech the priest, the son of Ahitub, and all his father's house, the priests that were in Nob. And they came all to them to the king, all of them to the king. And Saul said, "Hear now, thou son of Ahitub." And he answered, "Here I am, my lord." And Saul said unto him, "Why have you conspired against me, thou and the son of Jesse, in that thou hast given him bread and a sword, and hast inquired of God for him, that he should rise against me to lie in wait as it is this day?" Then Ahimelech answered the king and said, "And who is so faithful among all thy servants as David, which is the king's son-in-law, and goeth at thy bidding, and is honorable in thine house? Did I then begin to inquire of God for him? Be it far from me. Let not the king impute anything unto his servant, nor to all of the house of my father. For thy servant knew nothing of all this, less or more." So the priest, Saul sends for the priest Ahimelech after Doeg, who was in the temple, tells him that he saw David there, and that the priest was inquiring of God for him, which I don't believe happened. But Ahimelech is telling him, "Why is it now that you are after David? David is a faithful servant of yours, and don't be telling me about inquiring of God for him. I didn't do that." Okay? Not to mention, I knew nothing of what was going on here. So Ahimelech really was innocent of knowing what was really happening, that Saul was pursuing David to kill him. Verse 16. And the king said, "Thou shalt surely die, Ahimelech, thou and all thy father's house." And the king said unto the footmen that stood about him, "Turn and slay the priests of the Lord, because their hand also is with David, and because they knew when he fled and did not show it to me." But the servants of the king would not put forth their hand to fall upon the priest of the Lord. And the king said to Doeg, "Turn thou and fall upon the priest." And Doeg the Edomite turned, and he fell upon the priest, and slew on that day 75 persons that did wear a linen ephod. And Nob, the city of the priests, smote he with the edge of the sword, both men and women, children and sucklings, and oxen and asses and sheep with the edge of the sword. And one of the sons of Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub, named Abiathar, escaped and fled after David. So Saul has just gone crazier to give a command to kill all the priests. I knew that would have happened. And David, in his selfishness, I would say, should have thought whoever he goes to seeking help, he's going to put them in trouble. But I know he wants help. He's needing help. But he goes there and he lies to the priest, which he knows because he didn't want to tell the priest the truth. So he lies to the priest. The priest helps him out. And now the priest and all the other priests and people in that village end up dead. I blame David for that. But then not so much. Indirectly. Directly, Saul is just a madman full of evil, and he's just seeking to kill anyone in his path so he can get to David. See, when the Spirit of God is not with you, can't even think straight. Verse 21. And Abiathar showed David that Saul had slain the Lord's priest. And David said unto Abiathar, I knew it that day when Doeg the Edomite was there, that he would surely tell Saul, I have occasioned the death of all the persons of thy father's house. Abide thou with me, fear not, for he that seeketh my life seeketh thy life. But with me thou shalt be in safeguard. So apparently David already knew Doeg was there. So why didn't he try to protect the priest? I don't know. But anyway, one of the priest's sons, Ahimelech's sons, Abiathar, escaped. He went to tell David what happened. David told him, well, hey, stay with me now because Saul is going to be seeking to kill you as well as me. I am so mad sometimes when I read this because I say, you know what, David should have had better judgment than to go and put the priest's life in danger. He went to the Philistines first, but I guess, Saul isn't going to go after the Philistines. So he knew how the priests were. The priests were dedicated to God. So they had nobody to fight on their behalf. So he, as usual, it's a bully thing. When the devil is working with you, you do all kinds of things that are not right. Killed all of the priests, all of the people, all of the women, all of the children. But you know what? God is still in control. And I always say this, what goes around comes around. The evil you do to others, you better watch out because it's coming right back at you. So that's it for reading 1 Samuel chapter 21. Keep listening and remember, faith comes by the hearing of God's word. Until our next reading. Bye.